the good stuff.
Welcome back, everybody, to Goodwill Podcasting with Connor, Dan, and Stone, your movie podcast that today is talking about Wake Up Dead Man. Yes, Rian Johnson, Benoit Blanc are back to solve another mystery after 3 years after Glass Onion. We now have a trilogy, and we're here to talk about it today as it has finally dropped on Netflix over this past weekend. Some people saw it in theaters. A lot of people saw it over the weekend, so we're excited to talk about that. Also, Netflix has been in the news a lot lately. The streaming service, the acquiring of Warner Brothers. Are they? Will they? What's Paramount doing? We're going to talk about that as well as the movie, get into our reviews of the movie, both spoiler and spoiler free, and then our ranking possibly of this new trilogy that we now have. But we're not going to do it alone. As always, we have a guest for the first time. This guest is on Goodwill Podcasting. We love saying that. It is a dear friend of mine who I've had the pleasure of meeting with in person. So that is cool. But it is Bree, the Watch List. Welcome to Goodwill Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Yes, this was Dan. Why did you think that Bree was he was the one that reached out to you and everything like that? But I saw your review of the movie and I think that was a great pick, man.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like you have really good perspectives on things, and I think we just like trying to get as many possible perspectives as we can and talk to new people. I think this should be a good conversation too. I think there's a lot to talk about with this movie.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, 100%. Bree, would you like to tell people kind of like what your content, like what you try to do with your content? I feel like you turn on a lot of people to movies maybe that they haven't seen before, which is, I mean, the watch list kind of makes sense. So
Yeah, so my content is really just trying to, watch other things that are outside of the movies, like the movie theaters. Like those hidden gems, the things that you just randomly click on Netflix or wherever you're watching. I like to encourage people to go into that. I also do spoilers that are like very in detail to the point where people say they feel like they watched the movie themselves just listening to me. So yeah, that's kind of what I do.
how long do those videos take you to do? I can only imagine. Because I remember sometimes you post on your story and like something like one thing will happen like during the editing process and messes you up. And I'm like, I can only imagine like what that just did.
Yeah, it takes a long time. Like I think I just did one. It's still not out yet. 6 hours of my day. Yeah.
Jesus.
The filming,
my
the editing,
gosh.
the getting the pictures. Yeah, 6 whole hours.
Damn.
Can I ask what the movie is?
For that one, it's going to be, I believe, Keeper. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Keeper.
Interesting.
I still need to watch that.
Good movie. Strange one.
Yeah. I got a chocolate cake in the mail with that one. That was a whole ordeal for that. But Dan, I wanted to talk to you. We were going to talk about the Netflix, the Paramount deal, all that. So we got the news. I mean, I like to talk to, like I said, Dan, because I feel like he's the most knowledgeable about the what goes on behind the scenes when it comes to the executives, or more so the people involved with Paramount and what they're really trying to do with this whole situation. So we got the news that Netflix was acquiring. I mean, they put it on their website that they are officially buying Warner Brothers. I believe it was for 80. Let me see here right quick. Yeah, they put it on their website, which is like crazy, but $82.7 billion they were going to acquire this for. Paramount came back and they said, no, we're going to offer even more money, and nobody really knows what's going to happen. And I wanted to ask you, Dan, what do you think will eventually happen? What do you see happening? Because I feel like I really trust your opinion, because you're like, when the whole TikTok ban happened, right? Everyone's posting like, I mean, I'm here with this. I'm like, guys, it's been fun. I'll never see these pretty faces again. Like I posted one of those videos and I was like, it's been a fun ship. Like I was waving the white flag. Dan said, guys, it's fine. It'll be back in 3 seconds. It was back in 3 seconds. So what do you think about Warner Brothers? What's going to happen to Warner Brothers?
Honestly, I don't feel like I have a great gauge on the situation to know, but I think what's happening right now, um, I think what a lot of people want to happen is I think people want them to end up as a part of Paramount. And I think what the administration is doing, I think what like, and for anyone watching who doesn't know, Larry Ellison is the guy who started Oracle. Now he owns I think a piece of TikTok. His son David Ellison is the CEO now over at Paramount. they acquired Skydance, and now they want Warner Brothers, they want CNN, Comedy Central, a lot of things that like would be beneficial for them to kind of use to control the narrative. But I think what's strange about what's happening right now is Trump's kind of trying to say, "Oh, I don't really care what happens here. I don't like either side, blah blah blah." But like, he's met with Ted Sarandos, like he has a close personal relationship with the Ellisons. Like, I don't think that he's talked a lot about wanting to have control over the media and the news and the narratives and all. And so, not to get too deep into that, but I think that's what they want, and I think they're trying to like create a smokescreen where they're acting like they don't care. But to be totally honest with you, I don't know what's going to happen, and I don't really have a strong feeling either way right now. But I think there's a lot of push towards Paramount, which is bad. I mean, I like choices are always good for us, right? Like as consumers, like you want to have choice. I think with art, you want to have choice. You want to have different voices. You don't want things to get so um consolidated. It's not good, especially when it's in support of like all this. So
Yeah. Do you see a situation as because you said Trump met with Ted Sarandos, right? So
allegedly,
that's a little yeah. Do you see a situation whereas and they break up Warner Brothers and what David Zaslav owns and give some of it to Paramount, and then some of it to Netflix as well?
maybe. I mean, like I think. I mean, the ideal situation would be, this stuff would get so messy that they would just say we're not going to do anything right now. I think like that's what I keep hoping for. And like what I talked about when I made my video about this is like Warner Brothers actually set a record this year for most consecutive releases with an opening of at least $40 million. They had 7 in a row. And a lot of those movies were like good movies, and people were really enjoying them. And it's frustrating to see them string that together and then immediately after go down this road, right? Like it's frustrating. But that's just there's so much money being thrown around. It's just how it goes.
In their eyes, it might just be, they can sell it at a higher price now that they've had so much
Raising
success.
the value, yeah, yeah, and they have a lot of stuff coming. Like they have Supergirl next year. They have Dune. Like it's a big year. Um, but I can't speak for you guys. I find all this stuff really frustrating, and I find it like kind of I can't think of the word I want to use, but just like discouraging, I guess. Because we all love this stuff, right? And we all love movies, um, it's just when there's so much stuff going on in the background, like at the corporate level, and with these like just genuinely terrible people, I feel like it gets a little bit like frustrating at times. I don't know.
Brie, I wanted to ask you. I think you would contribute a very interesting perspective to this because when you were talking about like what you do when you create your content, but then also like the spoilers, it seems like you very much garner a lot of your content towards people who are at home. To like this is on streaming, like this is what you can watch right now, and maybe you get the draw more than we do of what streaming provides for an audience, which is what Ted Sarandos is saying a lot with his comments. So it is tough because a lot of people have come up with good, counterpoints to this being like, it is really expensive to go to the movies. Like I completely get a lot of times why people would rather sit at home. And the thing that I think frustrates a lot of us is the fact that Ted Sarandos isn't necessarily 100% wrong with his arguments. I mean, theater etiquette is down the drain. Movies are expensive. It is easier to watch it at home, but that's not a lot of times, where certain movies would love to be watched at. So what do you think do you think people who are really involved with streaming and like streaming even care at all about this merger?
I think, well, at least for me, I do care because there are movies I want to see in theaters and
Right.
rather than at home. I just do more at home because it's more convenient. I'm here. But I do, if I could just go to the movies all the time, I would be there, I wouldn't see certain things that are presented on Netflix. I wouldn't go to the theaters to see that, for example. So I don't know. I think it is just very, I don't know. It's just I was surprised when I heard about that news, but yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think Stone to talk about what you guys are getting at here. I think like everyone acknowledges the problems. I think it's like their solution is the issue. Like I think sometimes when I talk about this stuff, I think people feel like, I'm not looking down on streaming or stuff that comes out there, and I know like stuff is expensive. People are obviously the economy is kind of not in a great spot right now. Everything is so expensive, and especially if people have a family. I totally understand not being able to go, but the problem is Netflix says problem exists, so solution is it's everyone needs to come to us. This is the only option. Like that should just never be the
Right.
solution. I think everything is good. It should be balanced. I think people should have options, and I think once they start to feel like they're the only game in town, they can control. You're just at home. They start to raise the price, which they're already doing. There's more like flexibility to or freedom to reduce the quality of what they're releasing. They start using AI to write. They start using like it's just stuff that's green screen. Like they're gonna make stuff cheaper with less effort, and I think they're gonna keep raising the price, and then it's just like, what do you have? So I think like it's all people really want is balance, I think, in this situation.
I wonder if there's ever the thing is that that's unfortunate for like CEOs that are in charge. There's never a balance. There's like, how can we get the most money as quickly as possible and as much as possible?
Yeah.
They never want balance.
And it's
But
hard too seeing something like Zootopia 2, like just made like people do want to go. It's just getting them like finding the right, kind of creating a perfect storm of reasons to get people back. And I feel like once you get people like consistently going, like I think this next year could be really big for theaters. I think there's a lot of good stuff coming. And I think it could build on this year in a good way. So
I'm glad that you brought up Zootopia 2 though, because I think there's this mindset. Like I watch people review box office all the time and they say stuff like this verbiage, and I think it's very interesting. Like this movie belongs in theaters, but this one should have gone to streaming. And it's interesting that you bring up Zootopia 2 because someone was talking about the fact that Disney movie Zootopia 2 is making box office. Also a Disney movie, Ella McKay, just came out this weekend and is bombing horrifically. And I think a lot of people see a movie that's doesn't look large in scale. It's more of an intimate story, character driven. Emma Mackey necessarily isn't a huge star. And they're just like, it's not getting good reviews, not getting good audience. So it's like, why did we put that in theaters? Like that is a movie that should be going to streaming. And I think a lot of times that's the outlook that people have when it comes to the movie theaters, which is an interesting perspective.
well, I think one of the biggest problems right now, like I think there's a disconnect between studios and audiences in terms of not understanding what people actually want to see. Like I think that's just the type of movie that I don't know what. And same thing with like Jay Kelly, which is a Netflix movie that obviously wasn't going to go to theaters and have a big push, but like I feel like it's the kind of movie everyone's just like tired of, like these out of touch like stories about these people that just like they're not speaking the language that anyone else speaks. Like people, I think especially as times get harder, they just like they want to see more real stories dealing with real things and like uh, I don't know. I think that's where the disconnect is, and I think like that's what needs to be improved because there's so much stuff that comes out. You're just like, who are they thinking is going to see this? Like, what? Who is the target audience? Um, I don't know.
I say something I always think about. And I mean, I've told you my honesty when it comes to like Netflix and their business tactics. Like we've talked about David Fincher and David Fincher being one of their poster directors that makes complete sense in my opinion why he wants to stick around. They'll give him as much
Greta
money as
Gerwig now.
possible. That's the thing that I find very interesting is the fact that Netflix could acquire this studio, Warner Brothers, and get all of this IP, all of these blockbuster franchises. What are they going to do with them? Are they going to put them in theaters? Ted Sarandos has publicly said we're not going to do, or I don't like the theater. I think it's outdated. I think we should do 2 weeks and then put it on Netflix. And then you have Greta Gerwig is the one beacon of hope that I see is that fact that Narnia, the Chronicles of Narnia, for sure is having 4 weeks, a Netflix movie, 4 weeks in IMAX next year. And I'm just like, that is Netflix going in the right direction, in my opinion. So
But dude,
that
she
gives
had
me
to
a little bit
fight
of hope.
tooth and nail. Like she had to basically go to them and say, "I'm walking away from this project if you don't give me what I want." Which like I respect the hell out of her for doing that because like I think if people just roll over, I think people see the amount of money that the streamers can offer, and they just go, "Oh, this is great!" Like Guillermo del Toro, all the love and respect to him in the world, but like no one else is giving him $120 million to make Frankenstein. So he saw that and said, "Sure, like let's do it." And I think like I don't know what it's like to be an artist and not feel like I can get my movie made without that money. So like I can't, I don't know. But if people just keep rolling over and that list expands, it, it's not good for the industry, I don't think.
Yeah, I guess it's better for art to be created than where more important for art to be created than where it is being displayed at. I guess.
Yeah, I mean until movie theaters are gone.
Yeah, 100%. I guess depending on, but the type of art that you make, though, like when it comes to, let's say, The Odyssey next year, obviously that is a movie that has been specifically designed to be put in movie theaters, more specifically, possibly 70 millimeter screens. I mean, the entire movie is being shot on IMAX, first movie ever to do that. So I guess it depends also on what you're trying to, emotions and
But
visual
for a story
language that
like
you're trying to convey
Frankenstein,
with
you
your
would you would
film.
agree that a story like Frankenstein should be like in
Yeah.
the theater, right? Like that's what was intended.
I mean, even Chronicles of Narnia feels like it needs longer than a month.
We'll see. That'll be interesting to see. I mean, hopefully, if it does really well box office wise, which the first one did. Supposedly, this is. I think that the CEO of IMAX said this is like. I should look up the quote, but he's like, "This is not your grandma's Chronicles of Narnia. Like, this is going to be like something completely different." Really interested to see what it's going to be. I know we've had some reports come out that sound very interesting. I know you're really on that, Dan. I know you love those books.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be. I'm curious. I'm open minded. Like it should be interesting. I don't know really what the demand is for that story in 2026 or 7, whenever it comes out, but I guess we'll see.
Yes. Something that was really interesting though was I remember in 2021 when this deal happened with Knives Out, and that first movie, I wrote it down here, had a $30 million budget. I think it was in 2019 it came out, $30 million budget, and then it made $311 million
Yeah.
at the box office, which is crazy. 2019, I mean, that was an insane year for the box office.
Mhm.
And then in 2021, Ryan Johnson made this deal with Netflix to release the next 2 Knives Out movies on the streaming service. I think the deal was like almost $500 million, which is crazy. It's a little misleading when you look up I try to look up the budget for this film. It's a little bit misleading because if you look up and, Safari uses their AI technology, it says like $211 million budget for this movie. I think what that is contributing to that budget is what it's saying is the fact of the deal with Netflix, not necessarily that what you're seeing on the screen when it comes to Wake Up Dead Man is $211 million, because that'd be kind of wild. I don't necessarily think that's the case, but it's funny. So a lot of people want a 4th movie, and we'll get into like the review of it here in just a second. But Ryan Johnson said obviously he has ideas going about, but he is going to make an original movie before that happens. Like it's going to be a while till anybody, gets any more Knives Out, which is a little bit disappointing. It was 3 years in between each installment, so it might be 10, might be 15. We'll see. But what has been your relationship with the Knives Out trilogy so far? Like, how do you think about these movies, Brie? And we can like go around just like I'm assuming everyone just kind of really enjoys these movies, but I don't know. Do you like the first one? Do you like the second one?
Yeah, I love the Knives Out franchise. I do. I do feel like in some capacity they can get a little bit predictable for me. But we'll get into my review for the third one because that was different. But yeah, I do love them. I love the mystery of it. I love trying to figure out who did it, Yeah, so I've had a pretty good relationship, I would say.
Connor, what about you, man?
Nice.
We never talked about the Knives Out movies together.
Yeah, I actually didn't watch any of them till earlier this year.
Okay.
And I honestly think I would maybe say I like them in the order that they've come out. So first being my favorite, this new one being my least favorite.
Oh damn.
Oh, damn.
Don't let that
Excited.
be negative. I still have it going at a 4 out of 5. Like I still had a good time with
Oh
it.
wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't really know like what my relationship is. It was more just something me and my wife got bored one night. We're like, well, let's watch this. Had a really good time with it. It still makes me sad because I think the first one actually allowed less people to see maybe my favorite whodunit, which was See How They Run with Sam Rockwell and Saoirse Ronan.
Oh yeah.
I haven't seen that.
I haven't
I
seen
think
that
that came
either.
out
I love
maybe
both of
during
them.
COVID. Maybe
think
during
it
like it was
did.
like 2020 or 2021. Yeah.
I think I've recommended it back when we used to do that at the end of our episodes.
David Yellowbow too.
Yeah, it's a pretty good cast. I really like it. I think you would like it a lot too, Dan.
Nice. I might watch this after we're done here.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. I just wrote it down.
I've got to watch
Nice.
Pennywise tonight.
Oh
And
yeah,
I
that
watched
too.
Does that come out on Sundays?
Yeah. Yeah, it's done
This
tonight.
is
You don't
the
have
end,
to.
right? Yeah,
You don't have
yeah.
to see any more videos about it, Dan. I know you guys probably see some.
Oh, it's my entire feed.
People love it, man. Holy shit.
It's like that. Dan texted
I mean, I'm
me.
happy. I'm happy people love it.
Bree Dan texted me. He's like, "So when is Stranger Things over? Because I'm tired of seeing like Stranger Things videos."
You know, I
It's like
get it.
Stranger Things, Pennywise. Oh my gosh.
I get it. I haven't even seen Stranger Things, so I'm just getting all the videos and I don't know anything about it.
I'm also happy the Five Nights at Freddy's wave is over.
Ooh,
That was a brief wave.
I know, but it
Like,
was a
yeah.
toxic one.
I said it,
Yeah,
just
those
like the
fans
first
are-
movie.
To be fair, our episode did really well on Spotify.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Fun
FNAF
episode.
fans. I'll learn the lore of all your animatronics for the third movie if you stick around. If you're still listening, if you're still watching this, if you care about Wake Up Dead Man.
We did lose 2 subscribers that week on Spotify, so
Damn.
What? Oh, Connor, breaking my heart. Dan, what do you like? I know a lot of people, besides Connor, it seems like I know a lot of people had mixed feelings on Glass Onion. What do you think about Glass Onion?
I think Glass Onion really feels like a Netflix original. I think it feels like very small scale. I think it feels very COVID-y. I mean, obviously the story itself, but like I think it feels very set in that time. I don't know how well it's going to age. I think it kind of dates itself in a way, but like I still think it's fun. Like I enjoy it. I just think it's easily for me personally, it's the weakest of the three. Um, but I mean, I love Daniel Craig. I love a good mystery. Um, I love also the Hercule Poirot movies with Kenneth Branagh. I love that series too. I think I liked the last one a lot more than a lot of people. I like a good mystery. I think they're a lot of fun, and I feel like it's definitely one of my favorite tropes in general.
Do you think you could write a good mystery? Like if you sat down, pen and paper.
I'm
if I
not a
paid
fucking
you,
writer. Like I could try,
I don't know.
but like I
I feel
can
like I
write,
could
but
do
I
it.
can't write a screenplay. Like I don't.
I feel like I could do it.
I feel like you should make Kevin Petullo go missing.
It's a good mystery.
Is that football?
The Eagles
Eagles offensive coordinator.
See these guys, bro. I swear. I mean, beforehand, they don't even consider, like, they're very inconsiderate. Like beforehand, they're just talking about fantasy football, and I'm just sitting here, just like, I don't know what you guys are talking about, but it's okay. Well, I know fantasy football, but I'm not involved with it.
Well, wait,
Oh.
just really quick, breaking news, sort of. Rob Reiner died.
Oh yeah, I was gonna mention that
Oh,
before you
man.
jumped on.
That's sad.
Yeah, I saw that. They found people who were not alive in his place, and the ages aligned with him and his wife. So I think the assumption is that it was him.
They both died.
Yeah, him and his wife.
Jesus
I don't know. I don't know if
Christ,
that's
man.
carbon monoxide. That's like the one thing I think about when something like that happens. But usually that's like in a garage.
Remember when
But-
that happened with oh my god, I'm gonna forget who it was. It was like a terrible. They found him and his wife. Like it was this year. It was
Oh, yeah, I know you're talking about. Dude, I can't
like New
remember.
Mexico. It was
But-
Gene Hackman. That was very sad.
Yes,
Yeah.
was that carbon monoxide?
No, I don't even want to go. It's so depressing.
Yeah.
It's just they both died. It was unfortunate.
But I actually just watched Princess Bride for the first time, so
Did you like it?
it was good. I think that's more so if you. It's a very
Oh,
much.
we talked about this. I think.
Maybe it's like if
Yeah.
you, I think I texted you about it. It's like if you grew up watching A Princess Bride, you're like, oh, I just have so many great memories. So many, I feel like there's so many iconic lines of that movie that people quote because I watched it for the first time. I'm just like, I just don't connect with it in that way that other people do. Are you a big Princess Bride person, Brie?
I would say no. I don't think I'm. Yeah.
Okay.
And he also had Stand By Me, When Harry
Yeah.
Met Sally, Misery, Few Good Men. Really good.
I
director.
love When Harry Met Sally. I will say, Stand By Me was I watched that for the first time I think last year. It's like 4 out of 5, but like I love When Harry Met Sally. Love it to death. So,
Can you
RIP
reenact
to
the diner scene
those
for
guys.
us?
No, but I do like what is it? It's like what's the line that Billy Crystal says at the very end? It's like when you know who you want to spend the I'm gonna fuck it up, but it's fine. Anyways, let's RIP to
When
those
you know
guys.
who
back-
you want
back
the
to
rest of your
Knives
life
Out,
with, you want the rest of your life to start right now.
No, you want the rest of your life to start as soon as possible. Oh, there you go. We did it together. But anyways, Wake Up Dead Man, Knives Out Mystery. I'll do a brief synopsis. This is like a sentence long. A baffling death inside a quiet church draws Benoit Blanc into a tense investigation where faith, secrets, and suspicion blur as a close community turns against itself. I don't like these synopses, but that's fine. Brie, do you want to, as our guest, will you do us the courtesy of sharing your spoiler-free thoughts on this movie first?
Yeah. Wake Up Dead Man, really good movie in my opinion. I would say on the ranking, it's my second favorite Knives Out one. I love how dark it is compared to the other ones. I also love the commentary on like the church and stuff like that. Yeah, really enjoyed the film.
Now, Connor, third and for you out of all three of these, but you said you still liked it.
I was gonna say I still really enjoyed the movie. Yeah, Josh Brolin might be like, if I had to rank all the characters in the entire trilogy, Josh Brolin might be number 2. He was so entertaining to me in this.
I'm guessing Chris Evans in the first one is your number
No,
one.
no, Benoit Blanc.
Oh, okay. Well,
I mean, not
Sure.
to be basic, but he's just
Take
a
the easy
phenomenal
pick.
character in all these.
okay. Number 1 draft pick, but okay.
Okay, Chiefs fan.
Another rest in peace today.
Yeah. So his ACL.
I agree with what Bree said a lot, though. That I liked all the commentary on the church, and just everything else. This one, I'll agree with Dan. Glass Onion doesn't feel like it might age well in like 10, 15 years. I feel like this one will age maybe the best.
100%.
Yeah. So what?
Completely agree.
I guess what differentiates it for you, Connor, that makes it your least favorite, or like what?
I
What would you
really
say?
like Edward Norton a lot.
Okay.
Dave Bautista, I think I just really like him, like being that charismatic, just goofy dude. And I really like the setting of that one a lot, like just how it looked versus. I mean, this
Okay.
one feels a little more real, and like it could happen, versus that one like definitely feels more out there, a little more far fetched.
Yeah.
So Dan, I can share my thoughts before you because I know you've actually put out an official review, and because I was on vacation with my wife this weekend, I didn't get a chance to do it. I actually watched this film twice now. I did get to see it in theaters, but then I woke up the morning it came out and watched it as my wife was still sleeping right next to me. This might be my favorite Knives Out movie, and I think a lot of that comes from my personal connection and dealings with religion. I grew up in a very religious environment for years and years and years. I went to a Christian college, so I was deep in the heart of religion and Baptist and Christian for 22 years, I would say. And I still do classify myself as a Christian, but there is a way that this movie conveys how people abuse religion in a very real way, but it also has so much respect for it. And out of all three of these movies, I think this is the most message heavy. And to see that in a genre film that's not supposed to be, but when you think of a murder mystery, like you talked about Kenneth Branagh. How do you say his last name, Dan? Branagh. When you look at his Agatha Christie trilogy, I don't think, in my opinion, I've watched all three of those movies. I don't think even in those are classic stories, but they're never as like hard hitting when it comes to the message as this. And now it could be a period of the times, because those are like books that were written years and years and years ago. And then Ryan Johnson's trilogy is very much set in the current day and current matters. But I thought that the way that this shows why people get into religion when it comes to Josh O'Connor's character, it feels so real and personal to him. I think he's giving an absolutely sensational performance. And I saw that, I believe Ryan Johnson didn't know who, I think it was Daniel Craig's recommendation to put Josh O'Connor in this movie, I believe. And Ryan Johnson had never heard of him, which is kind of a cool little tidbit there. But it also shows like why people don't like religion when it comes to, again, Benoit Blanc. Benoit Blanc is an atheist, and he gives his reasoning. And there's just, I don't want to ruin it per se, but there's an interesting, fascinating exchange between the two main characters of this movie, which is Josh O'Connor, which is named Father Judd. I think his character's name, Father Judd. Yeah, and Benoit. And it's just, it's so interesting that both of these people can have such differing opinions about something that is so important to so many people out there, but at the same time have so much not love, but respect for one another, and realizing that differing opinions are possible in a conversation. And I think that was really important for people to see. But then also just the way that the church like exploits people. I mean, that is Josh Brolin's character and all of these side characters, and how he has manipulated them and abused his power, whether it's Kaylee Spaney or Kerry Washington. I think that's really important to see. I think the humor in this movie is, I was thinking about it, I don't think there's a humorous bit in this movie that didn't necessarily work for me. I do think that there's a character who is nothing but the butt of a joke most of the time, and that was kind of disappointing for me to see. But I'll save that for spoiler talk. Cinematography, Connor, I completely agree. I think I told Dan, I texted Dan this, because that is a complaint that Dan's had about a lot of Netflix movies, is that they look like a Netflix movie. And I didn't necessarily get to rewatch Glass Onion before our talk today. So I would have to go back to see if that really looks and feels like a Netflix movie. I think that this movie looks incredible. I think visually it is stunning. And I think it's the best shot movie. I have Knives Out. I actually did get to rewatch Knives Out a few weeks ago, and I think this is better shot than Knives Out. Daniel Craig does this thing with the camera, and I'm so happy that he talked about it. I found a video on TikTok about it, him talking about it. But there's flashback scenes of this church and like the kind of the origins, I guess, of this church and Josh Brolin's grandfather and his mother. And there's this thing he does, and I loved rewatching it and looking at it again, where he decides to put stained glass in the corners of the frames in like a lot of the shots of those flashback sequences. And literally they showed pictures of it in this video that I saw of him. They literally just duct taped stained glasses on the lens, and they just shot through these stained glass fractures. And it was just, it was so cool to see. It's such a interesting touch that didn't need to happen, but it just adds so much character and so much life to the movie, in my opinion. Like I said, I think the performances all around are very good. I think Daniel Craig's as good as ever. Josh O'Connor. I think Glenn Close. I think a lot of people are focusing on Josh O'Connor because he is essentially the main character of this movie. But Glenn Close, I think, does a fascinating job for the character that she's been given. What else is there? I do like how these movies, Benoit Blanc isn't necessarily the main character of them. I made a video back about that a few months ago, but I like the tidbits that we get about his character, because I think everyone loves him, but I like that we get more about his, I can't necessarily remember what in the first movie we get about him, because that is his introduction to us. But in the second movie, we get more about his personal life, I believe about his husband. And in this movie, we find out about his mother and about religion and how this has shaped him. And I just love learning more about the character. And it's one of the reasons why I hope we get more of these movies in the future. But yeah, my negatives, like I just think some of the characters are wasted, which in an ensemble cast in what these movies are, I mean, everyone loves casting different actors in Knives Out movies. Like it is a part of this movie that is very important, is to get the characters right. I think some of the characters are not only miscast, I think they're wasted. And I also wish that they were more involved with the mystery itself. I think the mystery is a little bit predictable, in my opinion. There's two devils, as I said in this movie, in this situation. One of the devils for me was very, very, very obvious. And even on my first watch, I knew who one of the devils was. And on the second rewatch, it was pretty obvious who the second one was as well. But that is my only complaint. It is a big one, but it's one. So
And Brie, you kind of felt that way too, right?
Yeah, like it was a little bit predictable, but like I knew it was gonna happen, but I didn't know at the same time because they presented the other characters, and I was like, okay, there's other motives here. So when it came to the reveal of what was going on, I was like, oh, I didn't expect that to be it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, there were a few layers to it that kind of got peeled back. I think some of the initial layers are a little bit predictable, but it's a good mystery.
Yeah.
do you want to share your thoughts anymore on Dan? I know you haven't said any spoiler-free thoughts yet.
Yeah,
And you just
for
and you just
sure.
rewatched it too.
Yeah, so this was the opening night movie at the Philadelphia Film Festival. Ryan Johnson actually was at the film center to speak afterwards. I had to run to something right after the showing, so I had to go to um at the secondary showing, which was a half hour earlier, so I didn't get to see Ryan. But anyway, got to watch it in the theater with the full crowd, which was great. Um, they really enjoyed it. Like some of the funny moments, people were really laughing. The crowd was very lively. But I had an interesting experience with this because I last night I went. My parents both love movies and they hadn't seen this, and I thought they might like it for a few reasons. So I talked to them about it and said I needed to rewatch it, and I don't have Netflix, so I drove home and watched it with them, and they really enjoyed it too. But I actually ended up liking it a good bit better um, the second time around, like probably like about a star better this time, which I find funny because I think it's interesting to know the outcome of a murder mystery, but enjoy the movie more. Um, and I think some of that maybe speaks to the fact that like that doesn't really ruin it because it's not the most it's not the craziest twist. It's something it's if there's a few things that happen that are fairly understandable and you kind of see coming, but I think like I was able to see better how it was all tied together. I think Ryan Johnson does a really good job like weaving together every single moment in the movie. There's a few moments that really parallel each other, and this also has like two of my favorite scenes of the year. One of them being a conversation between Blanc and Judd in the church where they're talking about their faith or lack thereof. And like Ryan Johnson, this is shot by Steve Yedlin, I think is his name. Same person that shot The Last Jedi. He also shot Looper. He's worked with Ryan Johnson a few times. Um,
Last Jedi is
it's
also beautiful, beautiful to look at.
yeah, yeah. Regardless of
It's
whether
the
you
best
like it or
looking
not,
Star Wars.
yeah, it's a very nice looking movie. But I think this looks great. I'm happy I got to see it in the theater. And like I said, that scene with the conversation between them, the way he uses light in this movie is very simple but really effective, and it shows. I'll get to kind of maybe a spoilery thought at the end, but in that scene, it shows they really are put into the darkness kind of as Blanc is talking, and he's talking about his view of the church and the way it's been used to hurt people and attack people, and kind of reflects on his own experience. And it's like they're really sitting there in the dark, and then O'Connor talks and kind of says a very brief thought where I think he says, um, it's about storytelling, like we're just telling stories, and that's what it's about. And he starts crying, and he says, I felt like a priest again. And the other scene was the conversation on the phone um, that he has, and like this might sound like a little dramatic, but like I think this is one of the best movies about Jesus without being a movie about Jesus. Like in Father Judd, like I think he's just a Christ character. They made him a carpenter. Like I think it's very
Oh, I didn't
um
put that together. Yeah,
like it's very not on the nose, but I think like in him, and I think when you look at the Bible, like stripping away all the you know extra stuff, it's just a story about this carpenter who was a normal guy who wanted to bring people together and tell stories and try to help people, and he hated the Pharisees and the people who took scripture and used it to attack people. Like that's what this movie is. Like it's literally that. And he was angry. He basically had an army with him. Like he was a revolutionary at the time against the Romans, which is why, the Pharisees and Romans wanted him dead. Like it's this is a very angry, almost violent character at times. And I just think to me that's kind of the value of the story. But I think so many times these days when people try to make movies about like Christianity or Catholicism, it's like they want to beat you over the head with it and lecture you and try to say, "Oh, we're morally better," or this and that, and attack other people. And it's like that's not what any religion is about at its core. Um, and I think, like you said, it has respect for an atheist, and it has respect for a priest, and it doesn't ever lean to a side. It just shows you them as people, and it just shows you their perspectives, and they each are able to connect with each other despite having that difference. And I just like when movies have respect for ideas and don't talk down on their subject. So yeah, I really didn't expect this to be as thoughtful as it was. And like, I think Josh O'Connor's performance, like, I think he should be getting award nominations. Like, I think it's really special, what he's doing, and I hope he gets some recognition.
Said I believe he's going to be in dude's killing it because I think he's also going to be in Spielberg's movie next year, which just started.
Just disclosure, yeah,
The UFO
Yeah.
one.
Wait, do we know it's called Disclosure?
I think so, but I'm not sure.
Oh. Well, that's a cool name. I'm so pumped for that. I didn't know. Did you know that's Steven Spielberg's first original film since E.T.? Isn't that crazy?
Wow, it's gonna make a lot of money, I think.
Yeah, I hope so.
Ready Player One is still slept on.
I need to rewatch that. Let's you just made a video about that, didn't you, Bree?
Ready Player One.
Yeah.
I made like a kind of a recommendation one, nothing in depth or anything.
Like the collage one, but you put
Yeah.
Ready Player One there.
Yeah.
Okay. I watch your stuff. She knows ball.
I just followed you, Brie. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Wow,
I'll follow you back.
Only because of Ready Player One. He's like, I don't know about her just yet. Oh, Ready Player One? Okay.
No, actually, I'm pretty sure I followed her at like the 2-minute mark of this episode.
Oh.
Nice.
All right. Let's get into spoilers. Spoiler 42 minutes in. Glenn Close was very obvious from the gate. It's because personally I knew that the flashbacks even dude, when she opens that door and it's red behind her and the frick out of the moon, the sun, I don't know, an eclipse, one of the fucking coolest shots I've ever seen. I was like, there's no reason, Rian Johnson, why this has to go that hard. Anyways, I knew that all those flashbacks had to do with the main mystery, right? That comes into play somehow, some way. Glenn Close is the only character really, because Josh Brolin dies. Josh Brolin's a little kid back in the day, during that time. Glenn Close is really the only character there. So for me, I personally knew that Glenn Close was always going to be involved with the mystery somehow, probably responsible for it.
That was like an idiot.
I was just like, it has to be her. There's no one else there.
Jeremy Renner would have made the most sense. And so I thought it was Jeremy Renner, but I also thought it was going to be Samson. And I only thought Samson because he looked like Josh Brolin with the long gray hair, which was purposeful. Their like connection together, and I like with their drinking, I was like, it's got to be something with him. There's going to be like a replacement. Something happens, and then Jeremy Renner just. His wife left him for someone who was richer. So if Jeremy Renner could find the riches, he could get her back. That was my
on rewatch. He was obvious too. Like on my rewatch, I was like, because Kaylee Spaney, I don't think you ever think that she had anything to do with it. Also, Kerry Washington, because she's been done so much wrong, especially when the mystery continues to unfold. The only one that's like, okay, the only person left really is Andrew Scott. But the thing about Andrew Scott, which is one of my character complaints, Andrew Scott is a wasted character. He is just a joke throughout this entire movie, which is funny in certain moments, but you never take this character seriously. But I mean, that's how Rian Johnson wrote him, and that's all Rian Johnson really wanted to write him for. I also don't know if Andrew Scott was the right person to cast for that role, but it is what it is.
He's inspired me to build a moat around my house.
Okay.
Nice. I also think it's kind of like this is sort of like a Occam's razor thing where it's like, well, of course Jeremy Renner did it because he was the only fucking person that could have done it. Like he goes in with him. Like it's literally not physically possible for him to die in any other way if he's stabbed. Like if he was stabbed, it was Josh O'Connor or it was Jeremy Renner. Like, so I
And
feel
it's
like
not
that's
Josh
kind
O'Connor.
of a would have been interesting if it had been. And like
well,
I kind of would like to see it. I think it would be fun to see a story where Blanc has to decide, because they obviously had a connection. And I think that this is the first true friendship, right, that we see him form really in a movie. I think this is the closest he's seemed to a person. Is that right?
I feel like,
In the
yeah.
trilogy?
Mhm.
yeah,
And like I love the scene when he walks into the police office or the police station and
He's all
Blanc
bloodied
like takes him out. I really enjoyed their dynamic. I will say I think I was thrown off a little bit. Um, it felt really long before Blanc comes into the story. And I think I felt like some of the exposition and like setup and introductory stuff the first time I watched it, I was like, man, this feels like it's dragging, and I really just want to see Daniel Craig. I also, and I'll give a big complaint. And I don't. Mila Kunis can't act. Mila Kunis can't fucking act, and she's a horrible person. So I don't feel bad saying it. Like it feels like you're watching like a little kid who's like taking theater classes on Broadway. And they're just like with all these other actors that can like you have Glenn Close and Josh Brolin and Josh O'Connor and it's just like there are scenes that are so heavy and so serious and there's great acting going on. Then she just barges in and is like blah blah blah. It's like this is terrible. Like you're miscast and it's a lot of screen time. Like she's there to push the story forward so many times. And like it's also I don't know if it was the way she was written or the performance, but like she's so aggressive towards Josh O'Connor. They have zero evidence. She's like, I'm going to arrest him. For what? You have no evidence at all. And she's so suspicious of him, and it's all baseless. Like, there's nothing to arrest him on. So, like, it just that whole aspect felt really forced, and like it's just kind of there to like push the story forward, but she can't act.
I mean, to be fair, there is a video of him saying, "I will cut you out of this church if I have to," and like she says,
Freedom
there
of speech.
there is 9 seconds where he is in that room.
We don't live
with
in
Josh
Nazi
Brolin.
Germany. Like,
Okay,
but by what you're saying, Stone, someone could arrest Dan for the things he has said politically.
yeah,
Okay,
FBI would be here. Like,
okay, there's video footage from McCormick's character, like videoing Josh O'Connor, Father Judd, going into the closet for 9 seconds.
And there's no evidence. That's not evidence.
That is evidence. He's the
No,
only
it's
person
not
in there.
Stone. No,
No,
you're
that's
you're
suspicion.
objectively wrong. You're objectively wrong. No, he did nothing.
And I'd see where you're coming from too, but also like when they saw the footage of the tomb just opening, like, and then she sees him dragging the other person into the woods, and then here's Josh O'Connor's character coming afterwards, and now, oh, he's still the killer. Like, we still need to arrest him. It was, yeah.
One thing I was confused about on the security footage, it doesn't make sense that they didn't see him get punched and fall back. That makes no sense. Like you just see it like because he gets punched in the face as he's going into the bushes, and then when you see it from the camera, you don't see any of that happen. I'm just like, that's
Well, I think it's a little bit more in the woods. That's why you don't see it.
Well, yeah,
he
but
gets
like,
hit as he's going into the woods. You should see him. You should see him fall backwards. He doesn't fall forwards.
I think it's just a little bit more in the woods. Can I
Okay,
say something
that's
that stuck out to me on rewatch? Josh O'Connor only calls one person in this church a good person. Do you know who that is?
was it Kaylee Spaney? No.
No, it's
Blanc?
Samson. It's Samson.
Oh, yeah.
He says Samson's
Yeah.
the only good
Yeah.
person in this church. Do you know what I found was really ironic? He doesn't listen to Josh Brolin because when he's in church, he has the headphones in and he's always listening to the game. So I think that's the reason why he hasn't been like corrupted like everybody else.
That's very funny.
And I also thought it was funny and fitting. I like his name because Glenn Close is his lover and does him wrong, just like Samson in the Bible.
But Samson's also not a good person.
In this
even though he
movie or
doesn't
the Bible?
listen. In this movie.
Yeah.
Like
but he doesn't. Yeah, he is like he does help out a little bit, but he just loves Glenn Close. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, being involved with murder out of love is still crime.
Yeah, and I
Yes,
think that
'cause
was
he
like
does
a
know-
theme.
yeah.
That's a big theme, is like blindly following somebody. So he was blindly following Glenn Close.
I
Just
feel
'cause
like
he
all
loved
of us
her.
have done something dumb for love at some point, you know.
I haven't killed anybody.
Not murder.
Yeah, I'm out on that. I'm not going to jail for anybody, but except my dog, maybe.
How was the first snow with Thelma today?
She was vibing. She had so much
Yeah.
fun, and Watson too. He loves the snow.
Dude, when we got our first snow here, I sent Taylor 18 listings of homes in Phoenix, Tucson, Mesa, Flagstaff. I never want to see the snow again.
Why do you want to go to Arizona so bad?
Because I never want to see the
Bro,
snow
it's
again.
500 degrees.
That's
Dude,
fine.
come to Orlando.
No, Florida's gross.
It's fine. I mean, just
Damn.
yeah, if you mind your own business, it's all right.
Bree, what kind of dog do you have? Really quick.
She's a German Shepherd Husky mix.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very cute.
Yeah.
We are a dog friendly podcast.
Yes, for sure.
So you
Mine-
usually have my dogs in the
Both
background.
mine are asleep in the other room.
But yeah, I wanted to talk about that. The phone call scene, Dan, is it's so beautifully executed too, because there's so much humor beforehand and the editing is so quick and it's like very flashy, and there's a lot of stuff that is going on, because that's the moment right before that phone call scene is where they're like ripping apart that that like present that was given to Josh Brolin's mother
The
back in the day.
Eve's apple or whatever.
Eve's apple, yes. And I mean, everyone says it's like one of the funniest moments too. Like, it's such a hard tonal shift, because right before that, a lot of people, I've seen this clip going on viral on Twitter. It's like Daryl McCormick is coming out and he's like, "You guys let me know if you find that." And Josh O'Connor and Daniel Craig are like, "Absolutely, dude." And then he gets in the car and they just start booking it in there because they know where they're going to look or whatever. Louise. And it's so crazy because you are so involved with this mystery too. It's like you are in the shoes of Daniel Craig and Joshua O'Connor, because you're just like, all right, you know, the whole time I'm like, whoever placed the order for that crypt to be open is the person who killed Joshua Brolin. Let's get it done. And even me, I'm looking at Louise as an annoyance. I'm like, stop yapping. It's really comedic. And they're like, yes, you know, keep on talking. Everything stops when she just says, "Will you pray for me?" The whole film stops, and my whole crowd, and when I went in the theater, got quiet, and it just holds. It was cutting so fast between Father Judd and Benoit Blanc, and then it just holds on Joshua O'Connor. And I love how so much time passes too. We don't know what was said, but we know that Father Judd did not rush her at all, because we get a flash forward of Benoit Blanc just chilling in the chair, and it's like nighttime now. And this is an atheist. And I think that also shows how much respect that Benoit Blanc, an atheist, still has for a person of religion. Like, he knows that this is important to him. But what I really love is that when he is on the phone with her and she says, "Will you pray for me?" You have that quick shot of the Jesus that has been smashed. And Father Judd's like, "What am I doing?" And it's such a change in this character throughout the rest of the movie. He completely changes as a character. It doesn't even want to solve the mystery anymore. It is such a turning point of this entire film. And then it comes all the way full circle when it comes to the relationship between Benoit Blanc and Father Judd at the very end. Because I love how they keep on referencing the road to Damascus. Like, I will say, really fun. One of the best jokes, in my opinion. And my buddy watched this movie. He doesn't listen to this podcast, but he's like, "I think it was kind of sacrilegious in some parts." I'm like, "Where?" And I try to like get some like answers out of him. He really didn't give me anything concrete. This might have been one of them, but I thought it was very funny. But he's like, "Benoit Blanc, do you know what happened on the road to Damascus?" He's like, "Yes, you know, looked up, saw God or something. Probably just a bad case of pink eye." Thought that was really funny. But it's like, Benoit Blanc has a road to Damascus moment himself, but it's not from God, but it's God working through Father Judd, or seeing the love that God is supposed to have in Father Judd when he was dealing with Louise. That literally comes back to the climax of the movie. That this is the most important moment of the entire film, and it slows down for it and it takes its time. And I think it's superb. Blew me away. Probably maybe my favorite scene of the entire year, besides probably Five Things and Sinners. But
Yeah, and I think it's very real in that, like, you know, we talked about like the aspect of O'Connor and Blanc listening, or Judd and Blanc listening to each other and having respect for each other. I think we also in today's world, it's very fast paced, and I think people are very much concerned with themselves and like what they have going on. And I think like um in that moment you understand like even if someone is annoying you or even if someone is frustrating or you feel like not um helping you, I guess, in the way you want them to, like they're a person. They have other stuff going on. They have a whole life that you don't know anything about. Um and like just taking that moment to recognize that and see them as a human being, um, I think is important. And you know, we all exist on the internet. I think we've all had people say insane stuff to us, and I think sometimes like I try to take the mindset of like you don't know what that person is dealing with or going through, and it's just like um, you know, I think it's important to keep in mind in general.
Very true. What other good scenes are there? The whole thing with the crypt, I thought was awesome. I knew that crypt was going to come back in some way. Samson's such a good guy. I know you were talking shit about him a little bit ago. He
I'm not
was
talking shit. He was involved with a murder. What do you mean?
Yeah, but I love Thomas
Crazy
Hayden.
takes right now.
I love Thomas Hayden Church, and when he's just like in that little coffin, and Glenn Close is like, "You will rise again." And he's like, "I love you, baby," or whatever. Just looking up at her. And Jeremy Renner's like, "All right, let me put this lid on real quick." The Eve's
Yeah.
apple, like the whole thing with the cross, like, oh man, this movie just wraps up with such a beautiful little bow, man.
It does.
It's so good.
I feel like that was pretty predictable that he was going to put the stone in there, though.
How?
Because there was like a whole scene in the beginning where he was like, I can build you a cross, I don't know. I thought it was predictable. Not that that's like a big knock on the movie. I don't think that takes anything away from it.
Do
also
you have any
just-
like? I was gonna say, Connor, do you have any like spoiler? Because you like this movie maybe the least out of all of us, but you still liked it.
Yeah.
Did you have any like spoiler negatives? Like something you
Not
really
really.
didn't like that you could just be over?
Not that we haven't touched on, I'll say. Like I agreed with you completely on Andrew Scott. I'm also, the only thing I'm really curious about is what is Jeremy Renner's ring material made out of that it could melt everything else,
That's a
but
good
not
question.
his ring. Also, is that
Yeah.
the darkest moment in all three of these? Just
That's
No.
a sick moment, dude. That was like the
it
same
is,
thing with
I
the crypt.
agree, but like seeing bones and flesh like melted down from acid, is that the darkest moment?
And my
Probably.
mom was like, "Oh my god."
That was sick. I mean, I don't know necessarily what acid looked like. I mean, I'm watching Breaking Bad, so I kind of do know what acid looks like. Doesn't look like a giant green goop, but man, that looked good visually. I'm like, nice. Kind of look kind of tasty too, but not with the skull.
Stone, are you okay
Your
tonight?
takes right now are just absolutely wild.
Kind of look like candy, Put that on like a lollipop. Sorry.
About to call the police on you. Jesus Christ.
Sorry. I'm not
Um,
Samson.
I did want to say we were talking about the cross. Something I loved, and I was thinking about at the beginning of when I was talking earlier. Um, the space, like the church itself. First of all, I thought it was beautiful. The space that they shot this in. I don't know where the actual church is, but um, the little things like just not having the cross there. I thought was a pretty on the nose commentary of like how he wants this place to be. Um, and it just felt so empty and like generally dark. Like there were moments of light that usually centered around Josh O'Connor, but generally the rest of the time it was pretty much in darkness. And in that last scene, when the cross is up and it's O'Connor's church now, it's so bright. Like it looks complete. It looks like a different space, and you can tell like it's almost like just his energy being there and replacing uh Wicks is just like it's kind of healed the space and allowed it to be something else. I thought that was really really good. They do a lot visually with not a lot of space and not a lot of different environments, which I thought was cool.
I'm happy you're bringing up the end because like one thing I'm really appreciative that they did is I was worried at the end when it was Father Judd's church that like there was just going to be like a big crowd that swarms in at the end, but instead it's just I think it's a mom and a son or a mom and a kid who just walk in and he goes to greet them. Like it's still going to
Yeah,
take
very
time
personal,
for word to
yeah.
spread about this church that it's
Well, it's not even-
somewhere you can come now.
It's also the fact that there's still like propaganda against him that is out there. Like there's still viral clips of him saying that I want to like, even though I think it's confirmed that he didn't kill, Josh Brolin. I mean, there's still nobody really likes him, and the community is so close that they don't necessarily want to go to that church. I mean, there's people that I think are involved with the church that don't go to church that still are like, you cut out Josh Brolin, like a center of this community kind of a thing towards him. So I like that he's just like, you know what, it's going to be tough, but this is what I'm called to do, I think.
I also love that Wix. It showed that Wix had absolutely no respect for any of the people that he was like using to have his power. Like he had no respect for any of them. But each of them in a very different way. I thought that was a really effective scene. And Kerry Washington gets a pretty good moment there. She gets a few good moments to kind of stand out. I feel like she's maybe the person like Jeremy Renner doesn't get much to do. Andrew Scott, like we talked about, doesn't get much to do. Kaylee Spaney, we haven't talked about her.
What do you think about her character, Brie?
It was interesting. I think it was just like it's kind of like this is the character that was in pain, right? In the wheelchair.
Yeah.
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 I think
Some
with her,
neurological pain.
yeah, I think with hers was just to show like more people, like I guess the motives for having faith or going to church is more personal. She wasn't there because she believed, she was there because she wanted something for herself. And so I think that was a theme with all of them in some way, like either it's money, either it's loyalty to family, so I don't know.
Yeah, and her, I mean, the fact that she was the one that was taken advantage of financially the most was like pretty upsetting because she's definitely seems to be the best person of that group, I would say, like morally, I guess. And the person
just
with the
gonna
most.
Father Judd's word for it and say Samson is. But well, to be fair,
Yeah.
okay, to be fair, Father Judd said Samson was a good man before he knew that he helped in the death of Josh Brolin. So,
Yeah.
maybe not after the fact, but before the fact, Samson was the best guy.
Did you
I mean,
guys? Sorry,
I'm
go ahead,
sorry.
Brink.
I was gonna say, because when everybody turned against him for having that secret meeting, like Samson was the only person that really tolerated him, kind of like he went
Samson
in.
wasn't there. He's just
Samson,
chilling.
well, yeah, but he had Glenn Close. Of course, she probably would have told him. That's
Yeah.
speculating, but he was really the only one that would talk to him when he had nobody else.
That's
The
true.
punching bag scene and everything.
That was so good.
Yeah.
He starts punching it. You don't even know that Samson's there. He just starts like hitting it. He's like, "Can I use your punching bag?" And he's just like watching the game. He's like, "I guess, man, sure."
Did you guys have any doubt? Did you guys assume it was going to be Wix that would be the person that died, or did you think it was going to be someone else?
I knew beforehand.
Mm.
I knew that Josh Brolin wasn't in the movie as much because there's like a shot in the teaser. I mean, we knew that Josh Brolin was in the movie. There's like shots in the teaser of like the main group of people like looking in somewhere or something like that, and just Josh Brolin's just not there. So
I didn't see
I
a
kind of
single trailer, so I had no idea. My first guess was going to be Samson, just because he was the one. To be honest, I don't know that much about the Bible, so what you guys were saying about Samson was educational. But also, it just seemed like we got maybe the least amount about him, other than the fact that he, is a recovering alcoholic. Which I guess I'm not wrong.
Yeah. I also one of the things I really loved, like another really great scene that we hadn't talked about is the final scene with like basically him doing a confession for Martha as she dies. And I think like the juxtaposition of the moment that she had with Grace, Wick's mother, like they basically set it in the same place with her and Grace kind of face to face and having that confrontation, and her being like, even though she was a kid, like her being so cruel and judgmental, and then her finally being able to let go of that. I think like that was pretty powerful. I mean, I kind of had a question of like, is she just saying this because she knows she's about to die, so she's trying to like get into heaven free card? But he prompts her to specifically acknowledge how she treated Grace, and I feel like the movie, no pun intended, had a lot of grace for Grace, and it's kind of about coming to understand like the way she's framed by them in the beginning is so judgmental and like evil, and just having a complete reframing of her character to someone that was, judged by not only her father but also her son, and maybe the Holy
And the
Spirit.
congregation.
Yeah.
Mm.
And just demonized, and I feel like it shows the way that like, these fucking hypocrites, right? Because Wix goes and has a fucking kid that he like,
Mhm.
he's just a hypocrite, and like that's, you know very poetic. But yeah, they really, I mean, they kept calling her harlot whore. It's like pretty
Yeah.
harsh.
Yeah.
But I like that last scene with Martha and Judd.
I also like it too that Monsignor Wix, and then also let me get the character's name, Psy. I think it's funny how
Yeah.
you don't necessarily know that they're related, but I think it's not a coincidence that Psy gets into politics and Wix is a pastor, because same personalities probably are in both sectors. So very much makes sense.
Yeah, and he literally, I mean, the plan is to bring Wix into politics as well.
Yep.
Like he said, I can make you president in 4 years, and like it's,
They're like, guess
You
what we
know.
can do for God? We got to make sure we put that God in there. We could.
Did you
we could-
guys?
Well, I want to say real quick one thing also about just like one thing that stuck out to me was the fact of the way that Wix talks about the world, and the way that Judd talks about the world is so fascinating to me and powerful to me. It's this, and it's so prevalent. It's so prevalent within Christians and with religion nowadays, is that we have to attack the world.
It's victimization.
They
They're
are
out to get us.
They are
Yeah.
the enemy. And in this movie, they refer to him as wolves all the time. They're out to kill us. They are to harm us. They are the devil. We are God, and we need to stop them. But Judd's like, no, it's not like, and I think it's so powerful that he's a fighter. Because he wants to do that. That is built into his character, and this shows how much he has changed as a person. He was trying to fight everybody, but now he's like, no, I feel whatever spirit this is move me, and I don't want to do that anymore. We need to welcome people in with open arms. This is not the way to do it, and I am living proof of that. I have lived with the sins of my past. This just brings you pain if you fight people like this. So
Yeah.
sorry, thought that was good.
Stone, I have a question for you, since you're more religious than Dan and myself. I forget the first priest's name, but he swallows the jewel, which obviously kills him. How would that look? Because I know, like, suicide is looked as like a massive sin in the eyes of the church.
Oh, well, okay. It's funny that you mentioned that, because I don't think they necessarily know that it's a suicide. Does it kill him that he swallows that jewel? I guess
Yes.
he does die right
Yeah.
after it. So I'm just thinking
Yeah.
about them doing an autopsy. Yeah, it would. It's not necessarily. Is it looked at as a sin? I think it is looked at as what sin was that person having in their life to do that act, because if they were right with God, there's no way that would happen. I think that is the evil outlook that people have when it comes to people committing suicide, unfortunately.
Okay.
So yes, I don't think they would see it as a sin, but they would see it as what other sins were they doing in their lives, because somebody who was right with God would never do something like that. The
makes sense.
evil people with evil thoughts a lot. They just, heaven forbid, they have a new thought or have some compassion, but it's fine.
Honestly,
Something I
with
want-
his, oh, sorry.
Sorry, no, go ahead, Bree. Sorry.
With his character in particular, I feel like for me that really just showed the hypocrisy in the church already. Because my great grandfather, he was a pastor in Kansas City, Missouri, and so when he passed away, he didn't have any money. He had given all of his money away. So with this pastor, it was interesting to see that, oh, he took all the money, bought a jewel, and swallowed it to spite his daughter. So I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's
Wow,
very
yeah.
critical.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
And they were both incredibly self-destructive and hypocritical. The
Yeah.
one thing I saw coming from literally the introduction was Sai being his son. Like as with the lawyer, like literally walked in the door and I was like, that's Wix's son, like immediately. And
Wow.
and I do think like we talked about earlier, as the stuff kind of developed at the end with Jeremy Renner, I didn't really see that connection coming.
I
But
would say
that's the one
Brian
thing
Johnson loves
I
his little
clocked.
his medication because he did the exact. I can't remember a Glass Onion because I didn't rewatch it, but he does the exact same thing at a Knives Out with the certain medication or has a certain it carries on to a plot point of the mystery is like a certain drug.
What did you guys think was the funniest joke or gag in the movie, or like line? Does anything stick out to you?
I think the one that really got me was the initial confession when Wick asked Judd to do his confession, and just like it was just very absurd. I
Oh,
was
the
like,
masturbation. Yeah.
yeah, I was like, oh, that's an uncomfortable conversation. I thought that was pretty
And that was such
funny.
a good scene though, because I feel like it shows like how manipulative he was, because like manipulators will do that and just try to make someone feel uncomfortable just because they can, and like see how they react. And I feel like that was a very powerful scene to kind of show his character, despite the fact that it was like funny and
Yeah,
him going to shake his hand and him looking at it, that was funny.
yeah.
When
Um.
I'll say one really quick, Stone.
Oh,
The
good.
the it was a little joke, but when they were in the meeting and Kaylee Spaney stands up and Glenn Close is like, "Oh, it's a miracle," and she was like, "I can walk, it just hurts." Like that, I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, that was
Um,
funny.
that's probably my favorite.
Yeah, that was good. I think Blanc is just so funny. Like I said, I love the pink eye bit. But it's so fun because I feel like his humor never gets annoying to me. He's just a naturally funny person. He's just so weird, but he also is very intellectual at the exact same time. It's a very fascinating person that Ryan Johnson has created. One thing I actually loved is when he's like over Monsignor Wicks's body. He's like, "What is blood?" And he's like trying to he's like slapping his body a little bit. And then it's so funny because he's like, "Can we flip it over?" And they're like pancake him, and they just take this body and they're like, and
Yeah.
then it's another. I don't know if this is sacrilegious. Sorry for my Christian community out there, but when he was like, I love it when Blanc is talking about the Bible or like says something in reference to religion in some way, and Judd goes out into the hallway and he's like, can't deal with the fact that he just saw this dead body get flipped. He's like, I can't do this. He's like, come on, man. I think we'll nail this. Oh, sorry. I shouldn't have said that. I was like, it's just little bits like that. Like I said, I love the pink eye, the whole Phantom of the Opera bit with the organ at the very end. He's like, I'm sorry, but I needed you to stop talking. Like that's a good one. But Dan, when you were talking about when I want to say these characters, I keep calling them by their actor's name. When Martha she takes the drug and she's going to die. It also, like I said, that phone call is the reason all of that happens. Why that confession happens. Because if Benoit Blanc is thinking back to that phone call and thinking about how important it is for certain people to connect with God in certain ways, and they need that in their lives. He saw that in Louise reaching out to Father Judd. So he knows that Martha is about to die. But because Benoit Blanc is a good person and he saw Father Judd do this, rather than rat Martha out, he allows her to make that confession.
It's a great
And
detail.
yeah, it just goes back to that phone
Yeah.
call. It's all on that phone call, man. I just think that one of the most powerful things I've ever seen in a movie, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think like that's the kind of subtle choice. Like this movie, I think is decently subversive. Like, and I think like to make these stories interesting, you can't just do rinse and repeat the same sequence of events, and like people will get tired of it. It'll get stale. So I think like you have to find ways to, um, add that spice. And I think like that every single little choice in the story is like what makes this, for me now, I think the best of these movies. It's a shame we didn't get more Jeffrey Wright because I love him. But
Oh,
Dude, I
yeah.
was just about to say,
I
I
was
didn't know
kinda
he was in
bummed,
this
like-
movie. Did you know he was in it? I saw
Yeah.
him. I was
No.
like, what?
so,
Yeah.
and then like when I was watching in the theater, it opened up and I was like, oh nice, Jeffrey Wright's in this, and I was like,
Yeah.
he's not in this. But he has a very funny line at the end when the kid's driving away and he was like, goofy ass bitch, whatever he calls him. I forget. I thought that
Jeffrey
was
Wright's very funny. Jeffrey Wright always
Yeah.
kind of feels like he's always annoyed about something. He's like a perfect casting for that guy. He always seems like he's pissed
Yeah.
off about something or just annoyed.
He's a very
with these kids.
serious guy, but also very dryly funny. I like him.
Yeah. Okay, so the ranking is Wake Up Dead Man. So what's your ranking, Dan? I'll let you say it.
Me,
Yeah.
I bumped this up to a 4.5, and then the original, and then Glass Onion.
What about you, Marie?
I think I love original. So the original, then Wake
Yeah.
Up Dead Man, then Glass Onion for me.
It's tough because yes, my past and the way I was raised, religion has so much to do with my life. But then also in the first movie, it's about a nurse, and my wife is a nurse, and that means a lot to me too. I'll go with the first one now, just because. Actually, speaking of my wife, me and my wife watched the first one in theaters together, and that was. I remember these movies are so much now associated with Thanksgiving; they always come out around that time. And that was the first time me and my wife connected really closely. So that was nice. That Thanksgiving that the first Knives Out came out. So Knives Out
Nice.
came out. So yeah, I guess first one still, and then Wake Up Dead Man. Very close though. All right. Do you
I
guys
will-
want to
I-
hear my knives? Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I haven't rewatched the first in a minute, so I might rewatch it and see how I like it. But sorry,
I'll send it. I'll send it to you.
Nice.
No, I also I just got this too. We were going to talk about this, Bree, this week. Yeah, we were going to talk about this week, but we decided not to. We're going to wait for next year. But our friend Brandon inspired me to get the physical media of
Oh,
Avatar: The
wow.
Last Airbender. Yes, this was a pretty penny. Speaking of my wife, do not tell her that. But
Can imagine. That's my comfort show right there.
Dan and Connor have never watched it, and we were gonna
Really?
talk. We were gonna watch the first season. Is it a lot? It's less. It's more than Knives Out. It's like six hours or so, and I did not want to say 6-7, but now I'm saying it.
Trending.
Yeah. But yeah, the two of them have never watched it, so we were gonna watch it, which is why I bought these. But then I told them that the movie is coming out next year. And I think it would be better for us if like an entire month we spend, doing one episode, reviewing the first season, the second season, the third season, and then we review the movie. Because because there is another series, but the movie is right off at the end of this show. That's what the movie is going to be about. So it'll go right into it.
Okay. That's gonna make $2 billion.
I don't know. Are you joking?
I think it's gonna make a shitload of money.
Really? I mean, the animation's big bucks. We'll see. Animation's huge bucks. Zootopia is.
Yeah,
Telling us
the
that.
world loves it. Yeah.
All right. Do you want to hear my Knives Out movie idea? I think it's a banger.
Yes, for sure.
Okay. Sorry, I did not get you guys. For our audience, I texted these guys like 30 minutes beforehand, and I was like, let's try to like all come out with our own Knives Out movie idea with a cast. And I gave them like 4 seconds to prepare, so that's only me. But here
Do
we
us
go.
proud.
So my idea is to have it in like England and like an old like castle. I think that'd be really cool. Also, Benoit Blanc is a very southern man, so it'd be kind of cool to see Benoit Blanc amongst a lot of British people. And I think it's very ironic that Daniel Craig is a British man. I think that'd be very funny. And I would love for it to have the mystery of it to have something to do with like the history of Europe. Like, I don't know, like paintings or like kind of like, I hate to do this, but like National Treasure or like Da Vinci Code. Like
Da Vinci Code.
yeah,
yeah.
do some. I want Benoit Blanc like pushing on a wall and something to give way, and all of a sudden there's a trap door. That's what I want to happen. Some shit like that. We haven't seen that. These feel like very American movies, and I would love it to have that turn. And here's my cast. I think my cast is stellar. Here we go. Ready?
Danny DeVito.
Sorry, no, that would be cool though. British. No, it's British. Mostly British. That's the reason why. So all
Okay.
these are British actors besides one person. I purposely did that. So first, I think he would fit very well. I think Benedict Cumberbatch would be very good in this.
Mhm.
Next up, ready for this? Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Nice.
I think he would be great in this. Reconnect him. Sad that Connor's not with us right now, but reconnect him with his Love Actually co-star, someone who hasn't really been seen in movies or anything much recently, Andrew Lincoln from The Walking Dead. I think that'd be very interesting casting. Anthony Hopkins,
Mm,
Very good.
The goat.
I'm very much on the Naomi Ackie train right now. I think Naomi Ackie would be so much fun in one of these movies. I think because I know he loves the genre so much, Kenneth Branagh would be fun to put him in the Knives Out movies. I know he likes to do his own thing, but I think he would
Maybe
just.
a-
I think he would.
Poirot crossover.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, calm down there. I got
A little
two more.
end game action.
Okay. David Johnson. I think
Nice.
it'd be good. Kaylee Spiney's old co-star, Alien Romulus. And then lastly, this would be I think we need one American person to like come in and be like, oh, you Brits, something to like offset it just a little bit, which is funny because this actress is Australian. She's not American, but I think she could do it really well. Geraldine Viswanathan, which is the girl who was from Louis Dreyfus's assistant in Thunderbolts. I think it was the character, it wasn't the actress.
Okay.
Yes. You could also do Iowa Debris maybe instead. Maybe she'd be good. A lot of people are casting her in this. Everyone loves doing these castings. I remember a lot of people were like casting her in this beforehand. And Brock, our friend Brock has said this, and it is true. I guess the killer here would be Benedict Cumberbatch or Anthony Hopkins, because 3 for 3 now, these movies, the killer's always been somebody from the Avengers. It has happened every single movie.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of people have been in freaking Marvel movies now, but
That's
Yeah.
true.
would you watch that?
I'd watch it. Yeah.
I'd watch it for sure. Yeah. I like
Just
the
'cause of
idea too
Chiwetel.
of like kind of world hopping, like with the next few movies. And like there's so many different stories to tell and like a lot of different history to dive into. And well, I do think though they like using these movies to kind of reflect on America and whatever's going on societally in that moment. So we'll see.
Where does Glass Onion take place? Isn't it in Europe, but they go to like a private island?
I don't remember.
It's very much not a European movie. It's very American because they're all in their like own little isolated island. But I think that who pops up? Oh man, there's an actor before they get on a ship to go to an island in Glass Onion. There's one random famous actor who's on the bridge, like welcoming them onto the boat. Who is it? Oh my goodness, it's like a little cameo thing that's very random.
Jared Leto.
No, what are you doing?
Jared Leto and so
Is it
Jared
Glass
Leto
Onion?
and Jeremy Renner's their likeness. Excuse me. No, it says their likenesses appear on bottles of kombucha and hot sauce, respectively. But it says Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Hugh Grant,
So,
Ethan Hawke.
I know a lot of the lore there if you want to know. So I think the thing is that Joseph Gordon-Levitt has been in every single Rian Johnson movie.
Do you know his role
believe.
in this movie?
No, that would be good if I did. Oh, you know?
Yeah, he is the play-by-play guy for the baseball game that's on.
Oh, there you go. And then he was like on the Glass Onion, I believe every couple of hours there's like a dong.
Clock.
Like it goes, yeah, a clock thing. It's funny that you didn't get to go to the screening. This is something that's been going viral the last couple of days when after this movie has come out. It's funny that you didn't get to go to the screening in the Philadelphia Film Festival when Rian Johnson was there, because there's a video of him or something he said at the Q&A after it premiered there that's been going viral about Jeremy Renner's inclusion in this movie, because it is a little weird that Jeremy Renner hot sauce is literally in Glass Onion. It says Jeremy Renner hot sauce, and then he cast Jeremy Renner in the third movie. And Rian Johnson literally said, he's like, oh, I forgot that I did that, to be honest. I forgot that I had Jeremy Renner in the second movie, which is crazy to think about. And I don't know if that's true or not, because how do you spend like years on a movie and then just like, yeah, I forgot I did that. Maybe it was like a short little gag and it only took it like a couple weeks or something, but
Yeah.
I find that hard to believe. But the person that I was thinking of though, that puts them on the ship and it's only in Glass Onion for like probably 10 seconds is Ethan Hawke.
Mm.
That's what I was thinking of. And they all have masks on too, which you were saying. I forgot that was such a COVID movie, but absolutely right.
Mhm.
Well, Bree, thank you for joining us. Thank you for talking about a good movie. Sometimes, a last week we talked about Five Nights at Freddy's 2, so this was a much more
Yeah, that was
enjoyable
rough.
conversation.
Oh, man, I still haven't seen it, so I'm scared now.
I mean,
you
don't
like-
be scared
do you
of
like
the
the
movie.
first
It's not
movie?
very scary.
I did enjoy the first one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a little different than the first. We won't spoil anything, but
Whoa, spoilers. I don't want to know like Toy Chica and Freddy. Come on now.
all right, everyone
No
dies.
spoilers.
I'm sure I'll see
But,
it too.
Yeah, you can do a spoiler video on it. I wonder.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like all the FNAF fans have like that. That's the one thing we talked about on the episode that I completely agree with. Is like, even if the movie is not good, in my opinion, a lot of people's opinion, I'm happy that people went to the theaters and watched it, no matter what. Especially with what we talked about at the beginning of this episode with Netflix and everything. But
Yeah.
But if you want to tell everybody, Bree, where they can find you, thank you
Oh.
everybody for listening to this entire episode. We really appreciate it. Thanks for subscribing to our channel. Please go follow Bree at
You can find me on TikTok at the Watched List or on Instagram at bree.xv. Yep, and thank you guys.
absolutely.
Thanks, Bree.
Guys, please go follow her. Guys, next week, I lied to you at the end of our episode last time. And I'm so sorry. I confess I lied. I said that we were talking about Avatar Fire and Ash. I don't know why I thought it was coming out this weekend. It's coming out next weekend. Me and Dan are both watching it on Tuesday. I got into an advanced screening. It's because I emailed somebody, not because they emailed me, but it's fine. I have done
proactive. It's good.
an incredible amount of research on Avatar over the last couple of days, and I'm also hopefully making my very first YouTube long form video about a certain topic that I talked about last week. So please, and I have a lot of difficult thoughts and very what's it called? I don't know. Dan, what's it called when you hot takes about The Way of Water? Dan knows, but I have so much frustrations, Bree, with the second movie, and it really
I
upsets me because
just
I really
watched
do
it
love
for
the
the
movies.
first time.
Oh, okay. You know what?
Yeah,
Did you like it?
yesterday. Yeah, I mean,
Let's talk about it. Hold on. Guys, check us out next week when we talk about that. Yeah, but thanks for listening. But this week, please go outside, sit on a park bench, touch some grass, call up your friends, watch a good movie, watch Avatar: The Way of Water and Avatar, even though the first one's better than the second one, and find out why I think that next week. Peace out, everybody.